We are back at it again and ready to take you to school.
Hey, little bro. I am ready to share interesting facts about the American Civil War for students.
If you have never heard of the Civil War, also known as the American Civil War, took place from 1861 to 1865. Now, if you're asking what the American Civil War was about, it was a war between northern and southern states, with the Union representing the northern states and the Confederacy representing the southern states.
Both sides had different opinions about how the country should move forward. For example, some historians point to disagreements about how the United States would move forward with westward expansion, state rights, and continuing slavery as one of the biggest arguments. Many states in the South did not like the fact that Abraham Lincoln won the election. That is where 7 southern states decided to secede, meaning they did not want to be a part of the United States of America, forming the Confederate States of America. From there, 4 more states joined them.
Wow, that is some great information. In order to help the Union Army's chances of winning the war and stop other nations from getting involved in the American Civil War, Lincoln went on to pass the Emancipation Proclamation, which helped play a big part in the Union's victory.
Yeah, that kicks off one of our first facts. Many people tell the story of how Lincoln freed the slaves, but with our first fact, Abraham Lincoln only freed the slaves in the Confederate States. There was still slavery in the northern states that he did not address with the Emancipation Proclamation.
Wait, what?
You heard me right, little bro. When looking at what Lincoln did, the Emancipation Proclamation did not free the slaves held in the Union states, but specifically ended slavery in the Confederate States.
Thankfully, at the end of the war on December 6, 1865, the U.S. Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which ended slavery in the United States.
Look at you, little bro. You are on it today, dropping fact bombs from history.
You know how I do, big sis, and I have another fact.
Go ahead and share with us, little bro.
I'm on it. When looking back to the American Civil War, black soldiers would stand up to let their voices be heard about unfair pay. An interesting fact from the Civil War about this is how for 18 months, black soldiers protested unfair pay in the Union Army. Black soldiers refused to take their salaries because they were paid much less than white soldiers during the Civil War.
It is sad how they were treated, only being paid $10 a month, and were required to pay a monthly charge for their clothing of $3, bringing that pay down to $7 a month for the highest paid black soldier.
In September 1864, black soldiers finally received equal pay. Also, the money they didn't get from their enlistment date was paid to the soldiers as well.
Now, speaking of African American influence on the American Civil War, our next fact is all about a woman who changed the landscape of slavery with the Underground Railroad.
You must be talking about Harriet Tubman.
I sure am. A lot of people know Harriet was a spy helping to gather information throughout the country for the Union Army. This led to a raid that took place on June 1st, 1863. Tubman and Union Colonel James Montgomery, along with black Union soldiers, led to more than 720 slaves being freed that day.
This raid was not only huge because of the number of slaves being freed, but also the first raid led by a woman during the American Civil War.
That is right. And Harriet's story was not the only story of women being involved on the battlefield during the American Civil War. Even though women weren't legally allowed to fight, that didn't stop the ladies. There are stories of women fighting in the American Civil War disguised as men, with estimates of around 800 women fighting.
And there you have it, sharing interesting facts from the American Civil War for students. I hope you enjoyed hanging with us, and feel free to share more in the comments that you know about the American Civil War. And also, take a moment to subscribe to our channel as we share interesting facts in history each week.